Oh my God.
51 minutes of talking.
Yes.
Actually, probably closer to an hour because we got out a little bit early. You know what?
Yeah.
That's what
I
happens when we
love
don't
it.
see each other for over a
Yeah.
week.
It's literally what happens when we need to decompress all this stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
You guys will get that later when we record the PS. Don't you worry. You will not miss out. Today is going to be I was going to say smorgasbord. That's not, doesn't fit with what I'm trying to say. Today, good luck to us because
Again, follow up to last week's. We're still doing our best.
My attention span and the ability to stay on task is
to make a sentence.
real difficult today. I am struggling with my words, so this may be rough. Rough riders. Okay. Give me a second. Don't even fucking say it. That's the 12th. So this is episode 102.
Good job.
Yeah. Because I have them written down stuff. I can be organized.
I believe you.
I wouldn't. Remember I told you I'm a good liar? Yes, episode 102. I made it a point last time that we were going through and setting these up to make sure that I wrote down what episode it was and when it was airing.
Me too.
Because that seems to be a running theme that I'm like, what episode is this? When did this one come out? Which would probably be very annoying. So I wrote it down.
We have a lot to keep track of in our daily lives. Anyways.
We do. My God. Okay, so today we didn't really have any set topics, but we were discussing before we got on here the ever popular topics of body image and what our clients struggle with body image, what we struggle with about body image. I think what every woman, and there are men that struggle with body image and non-binary and all of that. We are going to speak from our experience and then the experience of our clients today. Everyone is welcome here, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one thing that frustrates, what really grinds my gears, what really frustrates me is the weight that is put on, no pun intended, the weight that is put on what the appearance of our body is. Mm-hmm. In society. And I grew up in the 80s, well, like barely graced the 80s, and then grew up in the 90s where it was like Slim Fast and Jenny Craig mm-hmm. and Weight Watchers, Britney and Nicole Richie and
Paris Hilton.
So, yes. I mean, we just really were set up for fucking failure. So I do understand how much societal pressure has been put on us and like brainwashed, but I understand how that has happened. Mm-hmm. My frustration lies within knowing what it starts to feel like breaking through that and like feeling some freedom from feeling like, see, here we go.
Here's what I think the big difference. What I think the big difference is from when we were growing up or when we were teenagers or in our early 20s and things like mm-hmm. that is that we seen it in like Cosmo. We seen it on TV, right? We seen it in commercials, things like that. Mm-hmm. Now with social media being in your face, fucking 24/7, there's no fucking escape, right? Yeah. There's no escape. And for whatever reason, people continue to inundate themselves following these people that make them feel like shit about themselves.
100%. The point that I was trying to make is it's so upsetting that the weight that puts on people when you start doing the work and you start to break free and come through mm-hmm. the other side and start to recognize like there are still plenty of days where I struggle with my body image and the mm-hmm. weight that I've put on over the past couple of years and where I am. But I also wholeheartedly, deeply in my soul know that this is nothing but a vessel for my soul on this planet. Mm-hmm. That's all that it is. And so, yes, there are moments where I would like to have my body look a different way or present a different way, but I know my worth is not based off of what I present to other people. Mm-hmm. And I think that is so desperately what I want for clients. And that's where the frustration comes in. Not a frustration with them, the situation in general of like, you don't have to be tied to these things that are coming in at you through social media, through all of these things, because you can literally unfollow them. You can literally choose mm-hmm. other avenues versus just feeding yourself with that.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I was actually thinking about this the other day and I was like, I don't know that I've ever really talked about this or said it out loud or admitted it to myself. I think for so many years of my life, my body was the most interesting part of me, unfortunately. And my body was always talked about or looked at or made a point to be commented on.
Yeah.
That I think that's why I put more pressure on myself for it to look a certain type of way, because that I think that belief is like still deep down of like, that's like the best thing about me, right? Where again, I know that that's not true. I know that I have way more to offer, but I think that's like a deeply ingrained thing.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Well, it is. It is. I wholeheartedly can resonate with that. Everything has been the white girl with the ass. Everything in my life has been the white girl with the ass. I think the reason why it doesn't resonate so much with me is because when there was so much attention on it, it's like it was not cool to have hips and an ass. It was not cool. Like Britney Spears didn't have hips and an ass. Like, I mean, she had hips and stuff, but she was still very petite and little and whatnot. And I was not. Well, I'm fucking 5'3", so it's not like I'm not tall and, you know, whatever, but wasn't petite in like the frame that they had, right? Like I was size 10, size 12, and I vacillated everywhere between a 4 and a fucking 14. It just, it doesn't, I've been everything. So I think that maybe that's why it didn't stick with me so much, is because like, that's all that it was, but it created, I don't want to say like it created this like disassociation, because that is not what I'm trying to get at. But like this, like I don't resonate with that aspect that of how I'm represented. I think because I pushed so hard against that of like, because that's what it was, or like all people would say that it's like, I mean, that's literally the least interesting thing about me. But again, I didn't really grasp onto that until doing the work, right? Like being in therapy, being in the school, you know, setting, and getting my master's and working with people and learning DBT and applying all of that. I didn't really grasp that until a couple years ago, even like a little bit before 2020 and the pandemic hit, where it was like, I'm not working out to lose weight anymore. I'm working out because this is for my mental health. This is something for me to do. This is me showing myself that I love myself, that I'm showing up for me. And that's where that switch happened. But it is infuriating to watch clients go through that of like, well, I wish I was this, I wish I was that. And it's like, there are so many things that you have to offer that have absolutely nothing to do with your physical presence.
Well, the other thing is, and I tell people this all the time, and I'm sure we've said it on the podcast, is like, you can't hate your body into it being what you want it to be. That's not how that works.
No, you're just going to make yourself more sick. Like, I think this is also the thing that frustrates me is I understand that there's a difference between like actual doctors and like holistic doctors, but there is such a holistic side to mental health care that most people do not understand. Like we're not saying it for our fucking health of being like, you need to eat better, you need to drink water, you need to sleep, you need to work out, or move your body, right? Again, I'm not telling you to become an Olympic power lifter. I'm just asking you to move your body, whether that looks like stretching or Pilates or foam rolling or yoga or fucking walking around the block or taking your dog, you know, from down to a corner and back. It doesn't have to be some giant thing, but like there is so much that has to be cultivated from just natural things that you can do. And one of the natural things you can do is the way that you speak to yourself. Like you can't sit here and say like, yeah, I fucking suck, I'm this, I'm that, blah, 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 blah. Like your unconscious brain is listening and it's taking stock in all of that. It's not separating what is, you know, like, oh, I'm just being a little sassy, or, you know, I'm just joking. Like, but that's not fucking funny. Would you joke like that with your fucking kid, with your, and if you don't have kids or choose not, don't want to, whatever. So would you talk like that to your sister, to your siblings, to your brother, to your parent, your friend, your partner? Is that a fucking joke? You're so ugly. I'd be like, who the fuck are you talking to that's so rude?
Correct.
That's not a joke. So why are you treating yourself that way? Well, it's just different for me. That's a fucking choice. That's a choice to treat yourself differently than the decency that you give to everyone else. My mom is a religious person. She is team Jesus all the way. She always would say your body is a temple because it says somewhere in the Bible that your body is a temple. And so she would be like piercings and tattoos. And
correct.
And I was like, ippy. But in my mind, I'm like, I want a pretty temple. So
right. Yes.
it resonates so much with me now, though, of that your body is a temple. Like it is housing. Like think of temples. They keep something precious and unique and important safe. It is housing your soul. How dare you? How dare you treat yourself that way on a daily basis, as if you didn't beat out the odds of 1 in 400 trillion to get here. And I had a client be like, well, where'd you hear that from? And I'm gonna be like, challenge me. His name is Dr. Huberman. He has his own podcast. He's a neuroscientist from Harvard. I don't know how he came up with the statistic, but he did, and I believe him because he's a neuroscientist from Harvard.
Because he's really smart. So
are you gonna argue with a neuroscientist? Because I'm not.
From Harvard of all places? I don't
from
think
Harvard?
so.
From Harvard? No, I would shut the fuck up. Actually, I'd be like, I believe it.
What I noticed too, and I'm sure you noticed this with Peloton. Maybe not, but like if we're posting progress pictures, right?
Yeah.
Nearly every person starts their post with I hated doing this. I felt so uncomfortable. I feel disgusting. I didn't like what I see. It's like they feel like they have to preface their picture with, I need to warn you how fucking gross I am, so you can't say it first.
Yep.
I'll be the first to admit I used to be that person.
Oh,
100%.
Wholeheartedly.
I have nothing to apologize for now when it comes to my body.
You have
and
nothing
I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, you have nothing to apologize for, period, because your body is not an apology. Where your body got to or was or put you through or you got through or whatever was the reason that you were, your before picture is your before picture, doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Well, let me say this. Let me backtrack. It does matter in the sense of that your story, your journey, your life was real and you experienced it and it came through in that way. So that aspect matters. What we don't need to do though is preface it with like fucking gross or there's like blah blah blah. Like when I've done before and after pictures, my preface has been the picture I was unhappy. And that's how this manifested into my physical form because I wasn't living my soul's purpose. I wasn't paying attention to the red flags. I wasn't listening to warning signs. I didn't
care about myself.
No, and I was ignoring me or I didn't even know how, right?
Yeah.
I blessed my parents, but they didn't model how to take care of yourself. They didn't.
Same.
My dad doesn't talk about anything. He doesn't lean into feelings or talking about that. But when you're one of 12, how can you? How can you? You're just surviving. All of you were. And I get that. I hold space for that. My mom's same fucking trauma, 1 of 6, like unbelievable things. And then both of them trying to make ends meet to provide for us. And no part of me in my journey am I upset about the way that my parents were or how they are. That they did what they had to do, and I can hold space for empathy for
and
that.
I wish more people would adopt that notion, but that's a whole different fucking podcast.
Coming up next. I'm not kidding. We'll just roll right into it. But what I'm saying is like, damn it. What I'm saying is I can't be upset with myself because that wasn't modeled for me. I can just understand that that's where I'm at. And so I'm learning. And you can
make a different choice.
Yeah. And so I can understand that was my journey. That's what happened. And that's how I was feeling. And now I can make different choices because that's obviously not serving a purpose. But then also too, looking at yourself too, when like right now, I am the happiest I've ever fucking been in my entire life, besides probably just blissful ignorance as a kid. But like, I'm the happiest I've ever, I know, right?
Take me back.
What's it like? I just want to swimming all day, eating a sandwich on squishy white bread and having some Doritos.
Staying up with
I just want some aloe and a fan blowing on my little body. I just want to be 5 again. Anyways, I really don't. But like, where was I going?
You've never been happier.
Yeah, I've never been happier. But like, but my size is different. And while I'm trying to figure it out and figure out what works for my body and trying to make sure that I'm healthy, like all lab reports and tests and things that I've met with my doctors, everything's coming back okay. So here's what I'm not going to do. Continue fighting myself with where I'm at right now. Does that mean I'm going to give up everything that I'm doing? No. I'm going to pay attention more to what I'm eating. I'm going to pay attention to what makes me feel good and sticking to my routines that I know give me feedback and make me feel good. And hopefully something changes. And if it doesn't, that's okay then. That's okay. Because what I'm not going to do is be apologetic for the way that I look. Correct. Because I wake up every fucking day and take care of myself. Every goddamn day I wake up and I show up for myself. Every day, the different hats that I put on, I can say wholeheartedly 80% of the time I'm showing up and I feel good about the way that I'm showing up, right? Because we're all human, or well, we're all souls having a human experience. So there are days where my emotions do get the best of me, and I can hold myself accountable and come back to that and be like, hey, sorry.
I will say over the last probably week and a half, I've been very much more intentional with, again, not eating peanut butter and Nutella out of the jar like it's going out of style, because I would do that literally every time I walked into the kitchen. Why I thought that was a good idea is beyond me. I have no idea. It's full of sugar and it's
fucking delicious.
It's delicious. Yes, it's delicious. But I've also been pretty severely depressed for a while, and I just I didn't give a fuck about what I was putting in my body. And I felt that, and how I looked, and then it made me more sad, and I felt more inflamed. And over the past like week and a half, I've been way more intentional, and I feel better. I feel different. I've been sleeping better.
Yeah.
What I was going to say too is, I know that we talk about this a lot, not on the podcast, but like you and I, about stress. And you often say, I don't feel stressed though. In my brain, because you're my best friend and I know everything that's going on in your life. I'm like,
yes,
even if you don't feel it, that doesn't mean it's not there. Here's my question. I wonder if you don't think that you are, because your ADHD is like, I got too much shit going on up here. I'm not going to fucking think about it. Whereas me, I'm like, I'm going to obsess about why the fuck I'm stressed. And that's all I'm going to think about.
Yeah. 100%.
It's going to eat me alive.
Like when you said that to me the other week, and you said, just because you don't feel it physically doesn't mean that it's not happening. I was like sitting and thinking, and I was like, oh, this, wow. Like when I ask people the question in intakes where I'm like, are you overly sensitive, or have you been around people who don't understand, or who don't understand emotions or know how to process emotions? And they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, that's how that hit me. I was like, oh, well, maybe I am stressed out. Well, like, but then it's like, obviously, clearly you're stressed out, right? Like, cause it's my wake up periods are 2 to 4 when the cortisol levels are dropping or rising, whatever the fuck it is. I can't remember anymore. But like knowing that that stress hormone is going on and thinking about everything that's happened over the past year and a half. Yeah. Makes sense as to why I'm fucking stressed. But I do think that that does happen quite a bit of that. Like, I think about, like, I'll notice feeling energy in my body, and I'm like, okay, well, what am I feeling? What is that? And I'm like, oh, I'm anxious. What am I anxious about? And I'm like, and then it's like, I have to go, I imagine it in my brain, like I'm sifting through piles, and I'm like, okay, what is it? Oh, there it is. That's what I'm upset about. I remember that. And then I'll say to myself, well, there's nothing I can do about that right now, because that is coming due, blah, blah, blah. Like, so for example, like when I was in college, I would be like, what am I worried about? I'm stressing. I'm forgetting something. What's going on? And then I would do that. I would like pretend like I'm like looking through files, and I'd be like, I have that speech that I've got to give for my speech class, and I don't like public speaking. Okay, that makes sense. But then I'd push it away, because it's like, we're not going to cross that bridge until we have to get to it, because it doesn't make any sense to be worried about something that's going on for so long, because when you get there and once it starts, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's just the precipitory anxiety. So like, I'll notice that and pay attention to that, and then kind of just fleck off like what I don't need. But I do think maybe that is absolutely like a little blessing and a curse.
I was
like,
going to say, how I wish, even just for like one day, I could experience that, because my brain is the complete fucking opposite.
Yeah, and I have gotten tastes of that, right? With flying, I've absolutely gotten taste of like where you can't think of anything, and it's just like and it's fucking terrible. It's terrible. But I think too, just I'm used to my brain and my way of thinking, and I think that, like, so I just like, I think then it makes it feel like it's so much worse, because it's like, I'm never like this. Why is it like this? But when you said that, I was like, that is a fucking game changer, just because I don't like acknowledge, and it's not that I'm not acknowledging, like I know that I have things going on, and that things have been stressful and that, things are going to start getting better now. But realistically, it's like, okay, but there have been so many moments in my life where it has been put your head down and grind. You do not have time. Like you cannot this is the situation. It is what it is. And it's radical acceptance. So put your head down and keep moving. And
I also feel like we do that every day with work of like, I don't have time to sit and cry about my problems. I'm going to sit with you while you cry about yours. And I'm not saying that in a dismissive tone. That is the reality of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. And then there are some moments where it gets to where I'm like, and I just want to be like, why is this going on? But obviously that's completely fucking inappropriate. So it's that delicate balance. But then that I use those moments when I'm setting boundaries with people and I feel some type of way about it of like, you remember when you felt like that and you couldn't say anything? Well, you setting this boundary is your way of saying something. You know what I'm saying? So this has kind of gotten off. Well, I mean, it's still like fitting in with the stress and body and all of that. But realistically, I think what I want the message of this to be is that when we're looking at body image, sense of self, confidence, all of that, it all starts small. And what I have been telling people is that self-confidence comes from listening to yourself. And when yourself is asking you to do something, and it literally, here's the beauty of self-confidence, it could be anything.
100%.
It could be that, it's nice out. I think I want to go for a walk. Get up and go for a walk. I really feel like I kind of want sushi tonight. Get sushi. I really feel like just these little moments where your inner self is speaking to you. Those are the moments that you need to act. And here's the thing. It does not matter the outcome. So even if you do go on a walk, you're like, I'm thinking I'm going to go for a walk, and you go on a walk and it starts raining. That doesn't negate the fact that you listen to yourself.
Correct.
Like that's what counts first.
Yep.
That's how you build that self-trust and that self-worth, that confidence, by listening to yourself. So when we're sitting here and we're saying like, write these things down, get your thoughts on paper, challenge these things, that is also listening to yourself and building that sense of self and that self-worth. And when you build that sense of self and self-worth, you can then start to break apart this notion that my body is my worth, that I attach my worth to the physical look of my body, because you've done the work on building up this self-confidence and sense of self, building your values and your morals and operating out of those values and morals as well, is how you're building that self-trust. So then you're just reiterating, I am so much more than my body and this physical presence that it has to offer people. I don't look at somebody who has a wonderful body and think, this is the most amazing person. If they're nasty, I don't want to be around you. I don't care how pretty you are. I don't want you in my space. If your fucking aura is off, your vibe is off, I don't want you around me. I don't care how pretty you are to look at.
I'm also not going to hold myself to the standard of somebody who has a completely different body type as I do.
Literally, that's the other thing of like,
not going to be possible.
I
so
could literally starve myself. I'll never look like Paris Hilton. I'll never look like Nicole Richie, and God forbid, I don't want to look like them. But back in the fucking early, 2000s, that's what it was.
I sure did try.
You're like, girl, I tried.
Bitch, I got down to 115.
I got down to 142 before they found out I had celiac disease, and I looked fucking sick. I was like,
yep.
Like I looked gone.
And we were convinced, at least I was, that I was huge.
Oh no, I was like, I look good, but but in my mind, I was like, bitch, you're also really sick. Like you are sick. You can only have plain potatoes right now because you got bacteria in your stomach, and now you have celiac disease. So what the fuck? Like it was so bad. I was like,
it's also sad that I was never taught anything good about food.
Yeah.
Food always had a moral value in my life.
Yes.
Good food or bad food. I was never taught nutrients, right? And I try to correct that with Bug of like, well, it's not like good or bad, but like it's like healthy or unhealthy, or like, you still need certain.
Let's balance it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. There can absolutely be fun items. Let's also have some items that are coming from the earth. I think that's just how I try to word it, of like, let's have some items that are veggies, fruits coming from the earth, and then let's have some fun items.
Yep.
totally cool.
Yeah.
Or I try to like teach her about like calories, not in the sense of like count your calories, but in the sense of like, let's try to balance this, because what's not good for our tummy is to have like, you know, a little bit of an apple, a little bit of some oranges, and then all this food at the end of the night, because then it's like if you go to the grocery store and you got one person who checks out like with just toothpaste, and you got one person who checks out with just a loaf of bread, and then you get someone who has 2 carts at the end of the night. Like that's overwhelming, right? Of like seeing all this stuff. That's how your tummy feels. Like your tummy is gonna, my mom would always tell him, you're gonna get fire belly. You're gonna get fire belly. And so I was like, oh, I got fire belly right now. And I'm like, I bet you do have fire but fucking belly. Mom's got a fucking autoimmune disorder, and I guarantee half the fucking family does as well. So batter up. Yeah. But it's looking at those moments of like, let's balance this out. But I also, when we were growing up, what was the most pivotal thing that was out on the market? 100-calorie snack packs. And none of that, like, and it was all like, we weren't taught the difference. It was like, well, these are good because they're only 100 calories.
Yep.
You know,
when it's
not
just
good
processed food.
When you eat the whole box.
It's also just processed food. There's nothing nutrient about it. No, nothing. When the first word is something I can't pronounce, I don't think that we should have that. So I think it's so important too, to like, just learn how to have that balance for ourselves too, of like, if I'm viewing this as a temple, what do you need to do to upkeep a temple? You can't just be being like, okay, I built it. So yeah, look, like you've got to take care of it. Yep. That looks like showering. It looks like going for walks or exercising or stretching. It looks like feeding yourself. It looks like love, being kind. Sleep is so pivotal too. I talk about sleep all the time with clients. Oh my God, it's so huge. Again, and there's this idea, I can speak as from being a mom, right? Like there's this like resistance to going to bed early because you're like, it's my alone time. I got to stay up as long as possible to have alone time. And then you're getting fucking 5 hours of sleep. No, thank you. Well, and here's what you're not doing though. You're giving yourself scraps at the end of the night. If you want to have alone time, then take your ass to bed at 8 p.m. and get up at 4 a.m. Give yourself the best part of you. Everyone is their most productive. Your brain is the most on point, whether you feel it or not. Don't be like, I'm not a morning person. You can train yourself to be fucking anything that you want. People switch shifts literally all the fucking time. Sophia's dad switched shifts every fucking like 2 days. So you can make it work. So here's what you're not going to do. Give yourself scraps at the end of the fucking night and have this rebellious nature. And you're just going to fuck off anyways. You're just going to scroll social media. What did you do? What did you do that you poured into yourself, that you had all this alone time? What'd you fucking do? You didn't do anything. I can tell you used to drink a bottle of wine and scroll social media. I didn't do fuck all of nothing. Yeah, so. Fuck all of nothing. Yeah, and guess what? You fucked around and found out, didn't you? I sure did when I gained 30 pounds. Sure did. Yeah. And it happens not every morning, but the mornings where I don't do what I want to do, like, and I don't show up the way that I want to show up, I fuck around and find out throughout the day. I sure do. I'm like, today sucks. This is awful. And then I'm like, oh, that's why. Because you didn't give to yourself. Yeah. It is imperative. It is so important that I give to myself every morning. I wake up every fucking morning and give to myself. And it may look different. It may look like I'm going to read one morning. It may look like I'm going to do my finances. It may look like I'm going to have my good workout streak, or I'm just going to move my body in some way. But that is my time. And I am unapologetic about taking it. Same. People always like, I don't know how you do it. How do you get up so early? I'm like, well, first of all, I set an alarm because it's it's a non-negotiable for me. Yeah. So do I enjoy getting up at 4:30? Yes and no, right? Like I love to sleep. Sleep is great, but also I love to have time to myself and get my shit done and feel accomplished before I even get to work. So. Yeah, because there's the fucking famous army person or whatever who gave his speech about making a bed. Like if you do anything, make your bed. It was a famous graduation speech. Go listen to it. It is it's powerful. Basically, he's talking about doing something in the morning because then at least you've set yourself up to have done one productive thing during the day. Imagine
what your fucking day would look like if you woke up and gave to yourself.
Yep.
And that can, again, you set the expectation. It's not like every fucking morning Steph and I get up and run half marathons.
Correct.
And fucking write poetry books and publish novels and fucking create a cooking class online. Like, we don't, like, it's not rocket science.
Yes.
Get up and do something for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mari, I can't. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get your ass out of bed. Get out of bed. You don't have to immediately jump into a workout. You don't need to immediately whatever, but I can guarantee you, if you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get your ass out of bed, you're going to start moving.
Mm-hmm.
It may take a couple of minutes, but you're going to start moving.
The easier.
The more you do it. And here's the thing. I read Mel Robbins' 5-second rule because it came before Atomic Habits, and I loved Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm.
I like Mel Robbins' style, so I was like, let me listen to it. I think this is going to be okay.
It.
It was good. It's very simple and straightforward. And I listened to it, and guess what? I used to always set 2 alarms. Always. I still do. Set the 2 alarms. I don't ever get to my second alarm anymore. I just get up.
Mm-hmm.
Get up. Get up. Get up and get out of your bed. Get up. And half the time I'm like,
well, of course.
Like, I'm just stumbling to go brush my teeth. But here's the thing. By the time I'm done brushing my teeth, I'm awake.
Correct.
I'm not ready to jump into a workout, but I am awake. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm so fucking tired. I can't. It's not like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. So then I ease into my morning. What is that going to look like? It means I'm going to drink some fucking water because I stopped, speaking of cortisol levels, I stopped drinking coffee on an empty stomach and started having a protein shake in the morning, and then doing a workout or having the protein shake while I'm working out, and then kind of taking my shower, and then I'll make my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And getting back to that routine. I tried to add protein to my coffee this morning. Bitch. It was so, it turned into like a biscuit.
Nope.
It wouldn't blend. And I was like, what is that doing in my body?
Ew.
I got so far. I was like, oh my God. I think I dumped the coffee out and had to restart. I mean, obviously there's worse things, but I was like, man, that's really fucking upsetting. I was really looking forward to that. Like, so I was like, great, now I have to go down some fucking protein. I was thinking it would just start, but whatever. Apparently you can't put protein in hot ass coffee, which I knew. I definitely knew. But I was like, maybe it'll be different. Nope, it wasn't. Anyways, so wake up and I get my ass out of bed because I 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and get up, because it gets your prefrontal cortex back online. You get out of that emotional mind of like, I don't want to. Nobody does.
Correct.
Nobody does. Nobody wants to get up and go to work. Nobody wants to get up and take care of themselves. Some days I pray for a sick day, just laying in bed and reading. Please, God, let me get sick. Like, not literally, but I think about it every once in a while. Not to the extent when Steph and I were working at the hospital, and we were like, a car accident.
If I just get in a minor car accident where I break my leg, I won't be able to do restraints, and I probably can't go to work. So
I'm not going to get through the locked doors fast enough. I'm a hazard.
I'm going to be a liability, so they're just going to keep me home. So
I don't have to answer the phone calls. I wouldn't come here. I mean, hey,
click.
That's up to you, but I wouldn't.
Oh my God.
It serves its purpose.
It does.
Anyways. Yeah. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse now. I feel like I said what I
feel like we've said what we needed to say.
Yeah. We'll probably say it again. So don't you worry. Don't you worry. There'll be another one coming at some point during the summer, the height of summer, when people are like, just wear the fucking shorts. Wear the shorts. Wear the bathing suit. Wear whatever the fuck you want to wear. Okay, please, for the love of fucking God. It's hot out. It's gonna be 90. Just don't
restrict yourself like that. Yes.
Don't. It's so rude. Don't be mean. Got a crop top on right now. It feels great. It is. It's so cute. It reminds me of like the 80s shirts that my mom used to wear. Like I can't. My legs aren't working. I can't lift myself up. Quads are screaming. Anyways, You can find us at Rewriting Her Story Podcast on Instagram. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, you can email us at rewritingherstorypodcast@gmail.com. We are also Rewriting Her Story Podcast on YouTube. Check us out. I really need to go look at that to see where we're at. Because every once in a while I'll be like, oh God, that has some comments. And it needs better notification systems. Anyways,
Probably.
It does. Stuff is The Spooky Therapist, and I am at BEAXO_11, right?
No, _XO11.
_XO11, whatever. But find me.
You guys have heard it 100 times, so it's fine.
I'm probably shared right now on Steph's story at some point, so just click on me. Or don't, because I don't give a shit. I don't care. Oh, it's not like there's been riveting content lately. Until next time, you guys. Bye.